What I really need is like radical change in my life. That's what I need. Can you talk about radical change? Meaning how I can get something totally new in my life. Right? That's what a lot of us think. And a lot of times I think some people, when we think about radical change, we're like kind of thinking extreme measures, right? So when I put up this next PowerPoint, think about what it means. Oh, maybe we don't have any PowerPoint. Do we have a PowerPoint? Oh, there it is. Nice. Think about what a radical change might be. Okay? And the first one is, I'm not, let's see, next change. Do we have another slide? Okay, I'm not excited about coming to church. What would be, come on, let's be honest. What would be a radical change to that statement?
I can't wait.
No, I mean, let me say, let me put it another way. I like that, Jay. First of all, that's what I like that. But if you don't, if this is your statement, and you want to be better, you're trying to change up your life, what would be the change up? Be honest. I think mine would be, don't go to church. Right? That would be a radical change. What would be another radical change in our culture with many churches? I'm giving you a hint. Go to a different church. Right? Why not? I mean, even right here, guys. One here, one there, one over there, within a square mile block. I don't know how many churches we've got. Here's another statement. I'm not happy at work. If you're not happy at work, what does our culture tell us to do to have a radical change? Quit your job, right? Get another job. Don't work, whatever. Right? Here's another one. I'm not happy with my marriage. Come on, say it. Get a divorce. What else? Quit. Oh my God. Anything else? Go find someone else. Have an affair. Right? Come on, be honest. Have an affair. You don't know anybody that's having an affair. I do. Or somebody that's had an affair. Right? What? My wife said, drink. Yeah, drink. Yeah. My wife said the breakfast worship. When I put that up, he goes, I'm not happy with my marriage. What should you do? She said, change your husband. Get a new one. I'm breaking down. She's going to trade me in for a better model. How about, I'm not excited about where my life is going. Right? And radical change. We like radical change. It means just, because we're a culture that likes to drop something and pick up something else. And we're a culture that has a lot of things at our disposal. So it's if one thing doesn't work, drop it, move on to something else. And that's our mentality. But, when we feel frustrated, bored with life, or you're just not happy, right, our culture keeps telling us, just leave, walk away, find something better. And many of us do need some kind of a radical change in our life, but like so many things in our life, I think that our culture has a way of confusing us about what radical change means and what kind of new change that we really do need in our life. And let's take a look at a passage. It comes from Jeremiah 17:7. And this is something I think that is becoming more and more foreign to us in our time. And it says, blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. They shall be like a tree planted by water, sending out its roots by the stream. It shall not fear when heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. I like that passage. I think that passage is actually more relevant to us than we realize or like to admit. When we think of radical change, many of us are, especially with our cultural thoughts, are thinking of change in the sense of changing to something totally different, something new. And whenever something new pops up, we run to it. Like, oh, that's such a change in my life, it feels good. But what Jeremiah 17:7 tells us is that we need to grow roots. Very different, isn't it? Instead of running, it says, go deeper. Very different. But here's the funny thing. The word root and radical actually come from the same word. Same old English word, right? Which means to go to the origin or to the original root source. Radical and root are from the same word. So looking at kind of doing a little etymology, what vegetable can you think of that may also share that same root word? Radish! Who said that? We got some vegetable people here, healthy people. Radish, right? It's like a root with leaves on it. Radish. That's right. And for many of us who need that, you think you need that radical change, possibly the kind of radical change that we really do need is to grow some deeper roots. Growing some deeper roots for our lives to tap into the original source of life. Think about that. How can we tap into the original source of life? And here's the thing about people without deep roots. And see if you notice these characteristics about yourself or the people around you. They always want to run. When life gets hard, they want to run. When something new comes along, they want to run to it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jesus told this parable about the seeds. And if you guys, or the seed, if you guys remember that story, Jesus goes on and he says, a sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell on the path and was trampled on, and the birds of the air ate it up. Some fell on rock, and as it grew up, it withered for lack of moisture. Some fell among thorns, and the thorns grew with it and choked it. Some fell into good soil. When it grew, it produced 100-fold. And he called out and he said, let anyone with ears to hear listen. And when a different way to look at this story is, he's talking about seeds, he's talking about plants, he's talking about us and how we need to grow deep roots to be strong. This story, there's not just the good seed, but the seed that doesn't really take root. It's telling us about people without deep roots that don't last very long. As soon as life gets hard, they give up. Or when life gets busy, they don't show up. When it's time for them to live like a believer, they don't step up. And then the story goes on and says, and they wither away. Later, Jesus explains about the good soil. He says, but as for the good soil, these are the ones, when they hear the word, hold it fast. Right? Hold it fast, meaning they grow root. They grow root into it in an honest and good heart and bear fruit with patient endurance. And I think that's what God wants for all of our lives. That we grow root deep. Deep roots. That the source of who we are, the source of our strength, doesn't just come from what's happening around us, but comes from the source of our life. So, how do you know if you need to grow deeper roots? And it's kind of the opposite of what this Jeremiah passage tells us. The second part of it says, it shall not fear when heat comes, and its leaves shall stay green. In the year of drought, it is not anxious, and it does not cease to bear fruit. And if you're wondering, well, do I need to grow deeper roots? See how you would answer these questions. Are you scared of something in your life? If you answer yes, probably you need to grow some deeper roots. Does it feel like something's getting too hot in your life? Is there some pressure in your life? Does it feel like life is kind of withering away? Does your life feel dry? Do you feel anxious or afraid? Does it feel like you're not producing any fruit in your life? If you say yes to any of those, I want to encourage you guys to think about, instead of just picking up and running to something new, to possibly think about growing deeper roots. And what I love the first part of this passage, verses 7 and 8. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. They shall be like a tree planted by water and sending out its roots by the stream. Jeremiah is telling us that people who grow deep roots have four things. going on in their life. It says, when you grow roots, he goes on, he says, heat doesn't overtake you. Second thing, they stay green and fresh. Third thing, the drought of life doesn't bother them. And fourth thing, they keep producing fruit. What does that mean? And I hope that this is the kind of mentality and perspective we can have as we start going towards the Christmas season. Number one, the heat doesn't overtake them. He's saying that whatever is happening in our environment, our life doesn't change because of it. It's not dictated by what's happening around us. For those of you who are into gardening, you know that you've got to keep watering your plants around the house. And Susan and I I'm kind of following Susan's steps, and I'm getting into flowers and stuff like that, right? And I've noticed that with like bulbs and flowers, you got to keep watering it, right? The sun's good for the plant, actually. It makes it grow. But if you don't water it, if its roots aren't connected to the water, what happens? It withers. It starts dying. You go, what? But the sun's good for it. Why is it dying? No. Right? It's got to have the water too. And I think too many of us are not planting ourselves deep into the ground, into the Lord, into the Word. And when it starts getting a little bit hot, you go, oh, why is it like this? Why is it like this? We feel that pressure coming at us, and all we want to do is we just want to crumble. We just want to literally pick up roots and run somewhere else. The second thing that this passage talks about